Good evening. Welcome. We are now back on Facebook and YouTube. So if you would like to call in, we would be more than happy to have you give us your opinion. And you can talk with us. As always, Dennis and I have quite a bit to talk about. And we have definitely three topics I want to start with. The topics I have are Afghanistan, Cuba, and the Texas Dems. And then maybe touch on AOC. What a first-class moron. Afghanistan. We have been fighting that war for 20 years. And this was in response to 9/11. We killed Osama bin Laden, first-class bastard. And we've been in there and getting rid of the Taliban and killing them, getting rid of all whatever Iran influence they had, and of course Afghanistan, like most of the world, is corrupt. All these politicians, and we're feeding them all our taxpayer money. Now Bite Me has decided to get out of Afghanistan because he doesn't want to leave it to the next president or have our people in there anymore. So, which let's just say I'm for. I think I am tired of wasting my tax dollars, which, do we even benefit from any of this? We take care of the world, and what do we get out of it? Heartbreak. We get increased taxes, increased prices at the pump, at the stores, and we take care of the world. So now that 95% of our troops are out of Afghanistan, all the tanks and all the military equipment that's there, they can't bring all of that back. So they usually disable them or bomb them. I think that we ought to just bomb the crap out of them. But I think what we need to do, because now the Taliban has taken over 85% of the country again. You knew they were going to come back. I think as a farewell to Afghanistan, and I feel really sorry for all the Afghans who have helped us. They're going to be killed. The girls who have gone back to school, the young girls who were learning and everything, prior to all this, they had to wear burqas and be kept stupid because the Taliban and all the men and all of Sharia law and the Muslims are as dumb as dirt. And they're going to force them to start wearing the burqas again and put them, quote unquote, in slavery. They're going to get rid of school for women. God forbid you make a woman half intelligent. I mean, technically, women should be taking over the world, considering there are a lot more of them than men, and men haven't done a very good job of it.
Well, think about what you're saying. Women taking over? You want the women that are in power in this country to take over?
Not the ones that are in power right now. No, I would send Harris to Afghanistan, and hopefully somebody would take care of her. But that would be I would like to see that, wouldn't you? And then send Pelosi and AOC over there and see what they would do with them. They'd probably they wouldn't do anything with them. They would probably just shoot them. But I feel sorry for the young women and the girls that are going to have to go back to being slaves. I think what we ought to do, we know where the Taliban is. We ought to bomb the crap out of these people. Bomb them and wipe them out. And all the people who are protecting them, if they die, too damn bad. You know what you're doing. Why should we take care of you? You people want to be free. Well, guess what? In the 1700s, let's just start around 1773, 4, 5, whatever. The United States had to fight for their independence. We were fighting England. Just give you a small history, because there's a lot of people out there who really are not very smart. They want to make us socialistic. Well, we were paying taxes to the King of England, and people got tired of it. So we had what was called to fight for our independence, Civil War and everything. And what do? We won. We got our independence. England backed down. We had France helping us, and I'm not sure of all the other countries we had, but we won our independence. Well, if the Afghan people want their independence, they better just start standing up and going after these people. Get off your nammy-pammy asses and start fighting for what you really want to believe in. Just like the people in Iran. Before Jimmy Carter ruined everything in 1979 and got rid of the Shah of Iran, Iran was an independent country. People were in the modern era. They were shopping, they looked very nice, the way they were dressed, and then you allowed this first-class bastard Ayatollah Khomeini come in, and what happens? Goes back to Sharia law, goes back to women having to wear burqas. Oh, you look really good in the burqas, people. Let me tell you, you just...
Get lost for words, don't you?
You want to keep going, living in the... I don't even know what
Stone
century it
Age.
would be in. 15th or 16th century or 7th. It's certainly not the 20th, and definitely not the 21st. How about standing up for your rights? Standing up for your country. You want to be independent? Stand up. Look what's happening in the world today. Cuba. There is protests and fighting, and they're fighting the police and fighting because they want liberty. They've been under Castro's regime for 50 years, 60 years. That first-class bastard is lying 6 feet under and probably burning in hell along with all the other communists down there. Well, now they're starting to really fight again. And I believe it was during Trump's presidency that he stopped allowing Cubans to come over. And once you reach land, you're automatically a United States citizen or something like that. Well, that's no longer. And I don't want to let that happen again. Cuba is closer to Miami than Orlando is to Miami, just to let you know. And I'm sorry for what's going on down there. That you want liberty, you're doing it the right way now. You're fighting for it. And I think you need to keep fighting for it. You need to get rid of the regime. You get rid of the police, who are corrupt as hell. And start fighting for your freedom. Yes, people will die. But that's what happened in America. A lot of people died so we could have our freedom. That's what needs to happen in Cuba. And once Cuba falls and becomes free, maybe it'll bleed over to places like Venezuela, Argentina, and get rid of the Chinese and the Russian influence that's in Cuba as well. You want to take over? You have anything to say?
Oh yeah, I got
Go
plenty
ahead.
to say. Well, first of all, I'll stick with Cuba since you're on the topic. You got to realize these people now. What's happening in Cuba is they really don't have much of anything. So the people are fed up. They were promised something years and years and years ago by the Castro brothers in the revolution, and they don't have it. So now the thing that's got them out in the street, from what I understand, is the fact that they don't have medicines, they don't have enough food, they don't have much gasoline. All the basic things that we take for granted in this country. They're not getting it. So
Well,
now they're
we
getting.
have sanctions on them too.
Yeah, but there's other places they could get it from. What we got to worry about as a country is we have to do something. I'm not sure what. We got to be ready to move if they end up throwing Castro's brother. Castro's dead, right?
Yeah, Castro,
Yeah, okay.
now Raul Castro.
So to throw his brother and whatever military or police are backing him, which they'll turn on a dime, if it looks good. We got to watch out for China and Russia. They're probably watching this real close if they're not inciting it. And whoever takes over that island, it is going to be if it's Russia or China, we got a big problem on our hands, real big problem.
Yeah, you're right.
But if it becomes free and we open up the embargo against it and let American companies go in there, they could turn that into the biggest, hottest casino place in the world, which it was at one time.
Yes, it was.
My
My parents visited there after they got married in the late 40s, 50s.
Can you imagine the hurting that's going to put on the casinos in this country, where you can go to an island, excuse me, and gamble and do whatever you want without the laws and without the taxes and stuff that we have in this country. But
That's
it would
a
be
good point.
It would be a great thing for the people of Cuba. And there might be a lot of people in Florida, Cuba. See, that's another problem that there is the people that are in Cuba now that were for the revolution. You have the Cuba population you have in Florida was the ones that escaped from the revolution. They don't want the people that are in Cuba now to come here.
Well, they know freedom and everything. So, you may even have a lot of Cubans that are here go back to Cuba if it was free.
If it was free and it was work, because you got a lot of Cubans in Florida. They're not all working. They're trying maybe, but they're not. There's just not the work there. But if they could go back to their homeland, which a lot of them probably would love to be able to do, and be able to buy a home or buy some land or whatever, I think making it a casino destination would probably be the best thing for it. Put a factory in there, a couple factories or whatever, and you saw not only them, but Dominican Republic would also benefit from it. But the main thing, like I'm saying, is you're gonna have to watch out for Russia and China.
They've got their hands in
everything.
a lot of countries.
They're going around the world and they're buying up ports in different parts of the world, access to the ocean, access to major rivers, and they're buying all this land up and they're building things on it. And, if they build bases on these places, we can't stop them. So there's a lot you got to watch out for. Okay. Now, the other thing, when you were talking about Afghanistan, it's kind of hard, I think, to get the people in Afghanistan, the people, not the military or the terrorists or any of that, just the regular people that live there, that have lived that way for way longer than I've been alive. That's what they're used to. They don't know what it's like here.
They want to stay in the dark ages.
Well, no, that's all they know. And for them to come out of the dark ages, they have to be shown the benefits of becoming independent and having their own country again. But what they see through the media and stuff of what's going on here, I can bet you it doesn't look any freaking better to them than it does over there. And as far as us taking the troops out, I think we should take the troops out. I think what we need to do, since we pay for almost everything that goes on around the country, or world, is tell Europe and tell the Middle East countries and everything, you take care of it. It's your problem. They can drive to your place, and they can come up there and they can start trouble up there. They can come up there and they can blow up one of your buildings, or take over a school in France or Germany and blow all the kids up. They can do this because all they got to do is drive there. It's not like they got to come across an ocean to get to you, like they do here.
No, you're right.
It makes it a little harder. But they have to put their money and their troops over there to take care of that country. We have a United Nations that have supposedly their own troops, and most of the time the only place you see these troops are in Africa, which is, at least there's some place and they're trying to help some people. But they got to stop putting these other countries that are at the biggest threat to all this that's going on there. They've got to do something for a change. We're paying for almost everything to try to, stop these wars, trying to stop ISIS and all that. And these countries, what are they contributing? Our young men and women are dying over there. I don't hear about, other countries. They got to get their shit together.
Well, that's why I said we can't be the police for the world. And I certainly don't want Russia or China to be the police, and because they'll go in and make everything communistic. But I believe, and I agree, we should have our troops out of there. We've been there long enough. We don't need to be there anymore. If you can't take care of yourselves, I'm sorry, too bad. However, you come over to this country and you start taking down buildings again, then we need to have a president who's got really big kahunas and bomb the crap out of that country. And I wouldn't care at this point if they wipe them out, because they've been fighting wars since the dawn of time. And I would say, you stay out of our states, you stay out of our country, you come here and you start creating problems, then we will take you out. And next time, we'll take you all out, because you don't want to live by decent rules. You want to live by dictatorship. You want to live by corruption. Then do it on your own turf. Don't do it on ours. We have enough corruption in this country as it is.
We can threaten these other countries as much as we want, our leaders, but unless there's a leader in power that those other countries are nervous or afraid of, it ain't going to mean anything.
Well, no, you're right.
And with Trump, they were nervous and afraid.
Right. With Biden, we're a laughing stock.
Oh, boy, they think he's...
I showed Dennis some video of, thank God that Australia reporters are not shy about showing how Joe Biden is. They showed a couple of videos, and Joe Biden just can't speak well. He fumbles over everything. He can't even read from a teleprompter properly. He has to look down at cards, and he can't even read out of cards properly. And one of the Australian reporters was saying, "My God, this is the head of the free world." I mean, this is sad. And on they showed some words saying, "How about instead of Joe Biden reading off the teleprompter, just turn the teleprompter around so we could read it?" Because Biden is just, he has never been a good person regarding the United States. He's been in power in the Senate for 47 years. He's been on the wrong side of history almost every time, and he's a lousy president. He's a lousy person. He's a lousy Catholic. He doesn't deserve to be where he is right now. And everybody who says, "Oh, well, Trump is corrupt and his family's corrupt," really? What has Joe Biden done for this country to make it better? Whereas you look at Trump, and he was America first. Now under the Biden administration, we are America last. And if anybody who's out there doesn't think that, then you really need to start looking at what the accomplishments that we had under Trump, because everything was changed now under Biden. How much are you paying for gas? How much are you paying more for your groceries? Everything is going up. This is thanks to Biden. And if you don't believe this, maybe you need to get some brains.
Well,
It's so sad to think that the Democrats in power are screwing us, and the Democrats out there just can't even see
They're
it.
not only screwing us; they're screwing their own people that voted for them. It's not like, what decisions they make just affect Republicans or independents. It affects everybody. I challenge anybody out there that's listening to us tonight to go online and look up 285 things Trump accomplished in the first year and a half of his presidency. Look at the list. It's very, very impressive. I've never seen a list like this of any president. I definitely didn't see no list of what Obama accomplished. I'm not going to see one from Biden. And I tell you what, if I was a leader of another country, like maybe, let's say Russia or China, you know what my biggest dream would be? That something happens to Biden so Harris can take over. I mean, the only way this could get any worse is if she ends up president. And these other countries would laugh their ass off. You know what she reminds me of? I was thinking about this the other day. Back in the kings and queen days, and they had court jesters, and they would come out and they'd have the hat on with
she's a
all these
court
different
jester.
things. Well, I can picture her as being a court jester, and the only thing that the king needs her to do to pick up his spirits is to tell her to cackle. Come in here and cackle. Give me some cackling. Because you hear her cackle, right? What a
And Biden coming, come on, man.
Yeah. Why are you cackling? Because that's all I know how to do.
She is such a disgrace to this country.
I heard she really has blonde. Oh, never mind.
She what?
Nothing. I'll get myself in deep
honestly, if I was married to her, I'd file for divorce. I'd be so embarrassed. If I was her child, I'd be embarrassed for her to be my mother. She is really a disgrace to the United States. And the next thing, have you heard about what the International Olympic Committee wants to do? They want to change the American flag, add 5 stars and take away stripes to change the American flag. Nobody asked them their opinion. The International Olympic Committee should go to hell. First of all, we shouldn't even be supporting the International Olympic Committee. Second of all, we shouldn't even be going to these Olympics. This is a joke.
Has anybody given any thought to what's going to happen if they get to Japan during the Olympics, and Japan is still in a real high spot as far as the virus goes, and
Yeah, if a lot of people get COVID.
Yeah, and all these athletes and everything aren't going to be able to come back into the country for a while. Anyone given that any thought? What are you going to do with them?
I don't know. You know what? Only 27% of the population in Japan has been vaccinated, and they're saying now they're not going to have spectators at the Olympics.
Yeah, they're gonna make it.
What are
thin.
all these sponsors who've paid millions and millions of dollars? You know what? You deserve to go under. You really do.
Well, they're going to get sued. A lot of people will sue them. I think
Who are they suing?
They're going to try to sue the Japanese government or the Olympics or whoever. I mean, the last I heard, they were only going to allow like 15,000 spectators.
None now.
Oh, none now. Oh, well, Jesus. I mean, why don't you just? I've always said this. Why don't they find a nice island that has the same temperature all the time, big enough for an airfield and some hotels, and have that be the spot for the Olympics all the time? Don't go to different countries.
Well, that takes care of the Summer Olympics. Now the winter.
Well, where is the Winter Olympic going to be? China, right?
I think that's China.
Yeah.
First of all, I would boycott China. I would never. I would tell our Olympics, our Olympians, you're not going to China this year. We're not going to let you go. You want to go? You go on your own terms. And anybody who goes, you better represent the United States. And if you do what this other Olympian did about covering her head and disgracing the United States, you're not going. I would tell her, you're not representing the United States. We don't We don't believe in you.
It's not supposed to be. The whole purpose
It's not
of
supposed
the
to be
Olympics
political.
in the beginning of time was to get countries together and leave the politics out.
Right.
And that definitely is not happening.
No, it's not happening. So,
What was I going to say about this?
as for the Cubans, fight for your rights. Fight for your liberty. Do it on your turf so you can have countries and businesses come back to your island and make your island thrive.
I got an idea.
Get rid of the Castros, get rid of the military, and start all over like the United States did in 1776.
I have an idea.
What?
Well, first of all, you had Russia that took over some country, part of some country, Ukraine or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so it can be done. All right, so what we do is have, when the Cuban people get rid of their leadership, have them request to become another Puerto Rico, where they're one of our what do they call
a
that?
territory?
A territory.
I don't.
Make-
We don't
wait.
need another territory.
No, wait a minute. We make Cuba a territory. That way, it's technically well, not ours, but
Dennis, do you understand what that's going to entail?
I know it entails a lot of money.
We don't
main
need
thing.
any more territories. We don't
Well,
need.
then you know
I'm
what?
sorry. Let
Then you
them
know
be
what?
their own. I think we ought to get rid of Puerto Rico.
But listen, what is the Cuban people that are protesting in the streets? What do they got? What are they going to do if they got rid of whatever kind of leadership they got now?
You form a new government like the United States did.
And then you, yeah, but that was so long ago. Things are a lot different now. You didn't have other countries. The only other countries that came here during our revolution were countries that were either fighting with us or against us. That's and that's what you're probably going to end up with in Cuba. What are those? Do you think anybody down there? I mean, do you hear of any other leadership that is stepping forward to take over?
no, actually no. But
Okay.
do we need another burden on our hands? They don't. What we're going to? Our tax dollars are going to take care of all these Cubans who are not even working. I mean, that we're burdened already as it is.
But you get companies, once the companies know they're safe down there, and then as far as how much they pay people, whatever, that's for them people down there.
So we go down there and help them, but we don't take
help.
them over.
Just because they're territory
What,
doesn't mean.
you want a nice 1950s car?
Yeah, actually, that's what I've been trying to do here. We got to do something to prevent these other countries like Russia and China from going in there and taking over. Because just think for a minute, if China went in there and they backed the.
Well, we could put a military base in Cuba, like
we got
did.
a military base in Cuba.
Oh, Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, and the first thing I would do is I would probably execute all those Muslims that are in there.
Execute.
Those terrorists. I would get rid of those people. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to think a lot more about it.
You take those terrorists that are in. Where did I say?
Cuba?
Yeah. What's the base?
Guantanamo Bay?
Yes. You take all them people. Now I sound like Biden. You take all them people, the terrorists, and you find a desolated place to send them. You take and you put them, say, up in the middle of Siberia or someplace. And believe me, I was watching this special. There's these little villages throughout Siberia. Trust me, it's not somewhere you want to be. And you take them, and that's what Russia used to have all their concentration camps and stuff. A lot of them were in Russia, their jails. I mean, in Siberia. Ship them out of there. That's all.
Not okay.
And then
I've got a whole bunch of people in the United States I like to do that too. Anyway, all right, let's go on. We thank you for all those opinions you're giving us.
we got opinions. Oh yeah.
Not yet.
Anyway, let's go to Texas. We discussed, Dennis and I were discussing Texas last week, and if Texas seceded from the United States, Dennis said he'd go down there
I would
in a
move there
heartbeat.
in a heartbeat.
But you've got Texas trying to, I don't know, pass these new election laws. And they're not able to do it because the Democrats keep leaving, the state Democrats. Well, they've done this twice now. And Governor Abbott said once they come back, they're going to call up another special session. Well, what I think they ought to do is once they come back and they go into session, you lock the doors and say, this is what we're voting on right now. And if you
Well,
try to leave, you're going to be arrested. Well, as
you
right
already-
now what they've done is they've gone to Washington, D.C., and he's already said once they come back, they're going to be arrested. D.C. can't do anything. The federal government, they're trying to get the federal government to take over the election laws of the states. Can't do it, people. The states have the right to be individual for election laws. There are certain things the federal government cannot do to every state. Well, and they said, what did I hear? The only state that has not changed their election laws, I heard, was Delaware. And Delaware, you have to vote on one day, election day. There's no. I heard there was no early voting. There's I don't know about ballots, if you have absentee ballots or not, but there's one day, election day. Well, that's the way it should be for the entire country. You shouldn't be able to vote a month in advance or a week in advance, or you drop your ballots in a ballot box. No wonder there's so much corruption and fraud. You don't believe it? Then you're stupid.
I heard two of the things in that bill in Texas is they want to do away with the drive-up voting,
Right?
and they want to do away with any votes after the day of the election.
Okay.
And there's more, but that's
Well,
only two I remember.
but there should be voter IDs. Everybody should have an ID in order to vote. You need an ID to go to the bank. You need an ID to get on a plane. You need an ID for almost any to buy liquor. Why shouldn't you have an ID to vote? It would stop fraud. How come it doesn't make sense to a lot of people, especially morons like AOC? It's not racist, you dumbass. It's happens to be good sense. But people like AOC and this dumb idiot from Somalia, Omar, what was it? Ilhan Omar, and then Presley and the rest of the squad. You people are so stupid.
Are they really stupid, though?
I think they're stupid,
but
and I think the people who voted for them are stupid.
Well, that may be true. But if you think about the overall picture, what they're trying to do to this country, you can't really be stupid to do it. You got to be smart because you're trying to figure out a way to take over a country.
And these people are letting them.
The people that are stupid are the ones
voting for them.
Are the ones that are voting for them.
And you've made these people multi-millionaires.
Oh,
They
yeah.
didn't have anything when they started out. God forbid, AOC was a barmaid. She had nothing. She couldn't afford an apartment in Washington, D.C. She barely could afford an apartment in New York. Now she's got a Tesla. I don't know how many apartments she has or condos she has. This woman is a multimillionaire. You dumb people in New York made this woman a multimillionaire overnight. And the same thing goes for people in Massachusetts for Presley and the people in Minnesota for Ilhan Omar, who is, these people are traitors to the United States. And
I don't
people
think
made them what they are.
People are just the majority of the people. It seems. Well, I can't even say majority because you're only hearing about people in certain areas that are messed up like this. There's a lot of people outside the cities in the Midwest and stuff that are patriot right to the heart. Do you remember seeing this thing on TV? First, I heard about it in Texas at a Walmart's, And then I heard about I believe it was baseball, at 2 games where somebody started singing the national anthem and everybody joined in. And somebody in the Walmart started singing it and the whole store stopped. They put their hand on their heart and they all sang the national anthem.
Well, didn't you go into Walmart recently with your hat?
Yeah.
You told me, and the woman said, "I really like your hat," and she said almost everybody in the store agreed with her about.
Oh, that was Home Depot.
Oh, that was Home Depot?
Yeah. She said everybody's all happy after the first rally. You know, speaking of rallies,
I didn't get to see it. I really didn't.
well, he's done a couple more since. I put out some feelers here. I'm trying to get a couple tickets to, because they have these bus trips now to take them. One guy, it's the 3rd time he's seen him in at a rally, and he came like from California or something, all the way across the country to be at this rally. And I just read a thing about, real quick, about the FBI has come forward and said that they have found nothing that shows that there were any guns at the January 6th rally in Washington, D.C. I think you're going to find out more and more that a lot of this stuff that you were hearing, bad stuff, was made up by the Democrats.
And you know who really causes all the problems?
Yeah, the Democrat leaders.
The media.
Well, definitely the media. Oh yeah.
These people aren't reporters. They're hacks.
Well, see, now they're in too deep, though. I mean, even if they wanted to stop telling the truth.
I really wish, Dennis, I had enough money that I could buy CNN or MSNBC or whatever, NBC or ABC, and turn it around. I would love to see all these people when I look in their face and I say, "You're fired," and they say, "Well, I've got a contract." I said, "I don't have to deal with your contract. I own the place now."
Yeah, and also say, and by the way, I'm gonna drop your salary to $50,000 a year.
Is what?
Drop this salary to $50,000 a year.
Oh, there you go.
And then say, and I'm gonna replace you all with kids. It's gonna become an all kids CNN show talking about kids news. The rest of yous, screw you. You're out of here.
Yeah.
You're fired. Oh, wait a minute. Let me call Trump up. Hello, Mr. Trump. Could you tell these people at CNN your famous 2 words, please? You're fired. There we go. They're going. I got something a little different, something to have a little fun with. Get K-Man and Melissa in on this. Name 5 things. 5 things nobody has in their home anymore. That's not on the list, but that's true.
5 things that's not in the home anymore?
Yeah. That's a good one too.
A telephone?
No, it's,
You know,
you got to think of in your home, not other people's home. In your home, yes.
Well, you don't have
in your home.
In my home,
What's 5 things you don't
8-track?
have anymore?
Cassette player?
Now you're just.
Wow, you are old.
What do I have in my house anymore? A rotary phone. Well, I mean, boy, you know what? You had one of those, you
Be
could
worth
probably
some
make
money.
a lot of money, huh?
You'd be worth some money.
Yeah. I mean, especially like the Mickey Mouse
Right.
rotary phone. I'm trying to think of what don't I have in my house anymore. Okay, so offhand I can't. A typewriter?
Well, you could call this a typewriter, but
Oh,
a real
computer?
typewriter.
A real typewriter.
See, I don't. The 5 things that are on this list.
All right, so go through them.
Me and Wendy, we got them
You got them all?
in the house, and more than one. All right. The first thing is DVDs.
We have them.
We have them.
Well, those are becoming extinct. CDs
We have them.
Have those.
going to become extinct. File cabinets.
What
I
is it?
have one.
File cabinets.
I have one.
Okay,
Wall calendar.
we have them.
I have.
Take out- wait a minute, take out
those
mem-
free every year from companies.
takeout menus is the last one.
No, we've got those.
This is what it says. This is the thing. 5 things they claim
You know,
that are going away.
Think about in the future. You won't need a phone. You won't need a computer or anything. You know what you're going to be able? They're going to eventually figure out, or people are going to evolve enough that they're going to be able to do everything with their brain.
You know, it's funny you should mention that because I remember watching when it first came out, Outer Limits. Remember Outer Limits?
Yes, I remember.
Everybody remember Outer Limits? Okay, the first story I saw was about these glass balls that had people's heads in them. And they were alive. Your head was in this glass ball, and everything you needed to do, you had a robot that would do it for you. So you would just telepathically tell them what needs to be done. And that's what the story was about, was somebody that wanted to go in and bust all these glass balls with the brains. And
I mean, think about what you have. Your refrigerators, all the brand new refrigerators, have computers in them, and you can program, like, I guess, to say what you're out of and what you need and things like that. It's just,
you know what I get a kick out of? They have this new refrigerator out where I forget how many thousands of dollars it costs, and it says, and you can go up and touch the front of your door, and it will show you the inside of your refrigerator.
yes.
What the hell? You can't grab the handle and open the friggin' door?
Dennis, think about it. What did you used to have on your TV? You never had a remote, but now you have a remote, and you can't get off the couch to change the channel on your TV.
You know what? What was one of the biggest inventions for TV, I think, was when you had an antenna and they came out with that box that you would turn it, to turn the antenna,
Yes.
to bring in the station better. That was like the first kind of like remote thing.
There are people who've gone back to having antennas. They say you can get free TV with just having those antennas. I mean,
Yeah, but
you're going to, and
You
look,
know anybody that has that? I don't.
yeah,
Do you?
I've
Does it
seen
work?
I've seen it. It works.
It
They say
works.
it works. They
Barely
say
here.
barely, but
They still sell them at Walmart.
I just things are going to keep getting more and more. And I've said to so many of my patients, I wish I could go back to the 50s and 60s. Everything was so simple back then. Today, everything is just so complicated.
Well, if you did that, K-Man and Melissa wouldn't be here.
Yeah, well, it's true.
And all this stuff wouldn't be here. You know that progress that's killing us all? What, nothing to say?
He's looking at other stuff.
All right.
Just think about what you're going to have in a few years, everybody. You're going to have an electric vehicle.
Or a flying vehicle.
Flying vehicle and go for it. But the thing is,
Have you... Wait a minute.
you're going. Remember the
How-
Jetsons?
Yes, but think about this for a minute. They were flying around in space. Can you imagine what it's going to be like in New York City with people driving around in the air in cars, in flying cars? Now, when you get in an accident, it's not like you're going to run into a telephone pole. You're going to run into the side of a building.
Well, guess what? When everybody's up there and all the traffic is up there in the air, I'm going to drive. There's been nobody down there driving. I'll drive.
I'm not. I'm finding a place to hide underground because when them cars in space come up to a corner,
It's going to happen.
and a red light comes on, they're all just going to fall out of the sky.
It's going to happen.
I mean, stupid. Why?
Why? Because if
Do we have to do everything that somebody
People-
thinks of?
it happens? Look at Richard Branson. Just came back from.
He wasn't in space.
He went 53.5 miles up into space, and that's considered outer space. I don't. That's not what I thought was going to be space travel.
Oh, that's just a start.
I know, but you want to take a trip like that? What he did? How long did it take him? And it cost $250,000. He's charging per person.
Oh, the other guy's charging in the millions. But I think he's going up further.
Maybe Jeff Bezos.
And another
maybe.
thing you got to watch out for is China with their space program. There's a report that came out that says not only are they they're building stuff up there where more and more people are going to be able to go, and then the next step is going to be the moon and stuff like that. They're pushing forward in that respect.
Good. Maybe
but-
enough of them will go and they won't be able to come back.
They claim they're also building weapons in space. Do you know in Canada?
They want to fly to Mars and build in Mars and live on Mars. Go right ahead. Be my guest. It'll be long past I'm gone, and you're going to end up having to have something like Star Trek, or in order to get there fast enough. Because how long does it take to get to Mars right now?
Well, they'll definitely come up with a way of it, even if they put people in some kind of a sleep mode. But first of all, if you guys are into binging on movies, Netflix has a show I've been watching called The 100. Got to check it out. It's almost kind of like the topic we're talking about now, where the Earth went into war and they built this huge satellite thing with people living on it. Well, now they have to come back, and some of them will come back. Anyways, it's a great show to watch.
When they come back, what are they finding?
They find that the Earth is livable, but
livable?
yeah, because
Wait, it wasn't livable before?
because they claimed it was going to take a couple hundred years for all the radiation to go away. So they thought. So after 100 years, they sent these people down because they didn't have any more room for them, and I don't want to.
Now we're talking Planet of the Apes.
No, there wasn't no apes. Jesus, guy. But anyways, I wanted to say, health officials say banning public gatherings stops misinformation. And as I was reading this, there's people that want to try to stop the gathering of large groups, which to me it also means like they're trying to find a way to stop Trump having rallies. But in Canada, most of the province towns have become like dictatorships. The people that are running it are still not letting people go out.
You can't go. You still can't go to Canada.
They're banning people from having large gatherings outside, and they're still doing it under the pretense of the virus. So, a lot of this stuff sounds crazy, but if you folks out there don't watch what's going on, this can happen.
Yeah,
And then you're gonna bitch and scream and holler, especially when it's supposed to be a good thing. Because if they ban it one way, they got to ban it the other. They know that, and they want to do that.
The United States is open, people, and you can travel in the United States. It's pretty expensive right now, but the national parks are really busy because you can't get out of the country. You can't go to Europe. You can't go on cruise ships. You can't. I guess you can't go to islands or something like that. The United States is technically thriving. The economy is getting better and better. Unfortunately, it's costing more and more to do things. But where?
Have you seen the posts?
No. Oh, I don't get that. You're on the.
All right.
Facebook.
You're on Facebook.
Gina says.
I know. Gina says, "Why are you repeating
What do you mean,
things?"
Gina?
I don't get it.
She's saying we this is what we go through every week, I guess, in
Oh.
a sense.
Yeah, you're right.
But I told her, what else do you want to talk about, Gina? Write down what you want to talk about, and we'll talk about it.
Did you
But-
know that the strongest weapon in the United States is a patriotic American?
I can't wait. I really can't wait to find all these patriotic Americans take down these people who are against this country. There is a movie that they were talking about. Apparently, Matt Damon is the star, and Matt Damon is a Democrat, by the way, and so is his friend Ben Affleck. They're from the Boston area, and he has to play a Republican. And the movie is supposed to take place in Oklahoma, and he visited Oklahoma, and it was filmed in Oklahoma, and he was talking to a lot of these people who are Republicans, and he was saying what good people they are and how much sense they made. So maybe, I don't know if it's going to change his attitude, but when you see things happening that in red states that are doing so much better than the blue states right now, it gives you, it really gives you a good feeling. You just wish that Connecticut was like this. Connecticut is still under a dictatorship. I don't understand why we have Congress people and state people anymore. Senators. They hand it over to the governor, executive powers. Well, what do we need you for then? We're under a dictatorship in Connecticut. This guy is making all the decisions. What do we need senators and Congress people for? Somebody tell me.
I want to say something to Gina. You know, some of the stuff we do repeat, but some of the reasons we do that is because it's very important, and we don't know who's watching from one show to the next.
Well, two are watching now.
We're trying to get some things across, because if you just stop talking about it, then people are going to forget, and the next thing you know, they're going to be able to do whatever the heck they want to do, and you're going to lose a lot of what this country has fought real hard for. Now, I do another thing where I go online and I look for little sayings, which, you know, have a lot of pack to it, a lot of meaning. And so here's one. You remember?
Gene Wilder?
Yes. Okay. He says, now that the statues are down, tell us how your life has improved. Take your time. I'll wait.
That's it.
I mean, little thing like that. It's funny, but yet it means something. They went crazy with tearing down statues. And has it made their life any better? No. It made the republic. It made the people in power look like idiots. You know, they're
taking down statues still, Confederate soldiers, and okay, I can understand why you want to take them down. However, if you keep them up, it reminds you of history. You'd rather take down statue of George Washington or Abraham Lincoln or Robert E. Lee, who, yes, he was a Confederate soldier, but he did a lot afterwards too for the country. Oh, and you'd rather have places like George Floyd Square? You want to honor a criminal?
Which I hear they're already graffitiing it.
You what?
I heard they're already graffitiing places.
Oh, are they?
Let me ask: Have you ever been to the New York State Fair?
The New York State Fair in 1964-65?
Anytime. They have it every
Yes.
year. I
No,
guess.
they don't.
Or every so many years.
They haven't had a New York State Fair.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, that was a World's Fair.
Yeah, the one you're talking about was
The
World's
world
Fair.
was 64. Well, I lived in New York at that time. I lived 20 minutes from it. But
Well,
yes, I was there.
according to this story,
Oh, you're talking about like, okay, state fairs that they have like, all right, the main state fair
They
in
have vendors and
Freiburg every year and stuff. Okay, yeah.
well, it says here another big vendor pulls out of the 2021 New York State Fair. I guess a lot of vendors are pulling out for whatever reasons.
Where is the state fair in New York? Does it say?
I don't see it.
Upstate New York?
I don't see it. It's here somewhere, but I don't know where.
So what vendor
the
pulled out?
decision, I think it was this Tarson Pools and Spas won't be displaying selling its line of jacuzzi spas at the fair. Tyson is one of several vendors that traditionally do a big business in spas and hot tubs during the run for the fair. Says here the decision is only partly due to the ongoing labor shortage that caused such vendors at some sausage place and Dinosaur Bar, barbecue, and some other crap. This year's fair, okay, so
I wonder if we're going to have a Big E this year.
I don't know. Probably not.
I don't know. There was supposed to be a Essex Arts and Crafts show on August 21st, and now it's been canceled because of the unknown of what's going on. Well, I think that's pretty cowardly. So, because people are more than ready to get out, the Niantic Arts and Crafts show is
Oh, I got another one.
really busy on Sunday because it was the weather on Saturday was horrible, but Sunday it was so crowded. It was great getting people out there. You want to wear a mask, wear a mask. You don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask.
What happened to Gina?
I don't know.
Did she get mad at me?
No, she didn't get mad at you.
So, if the president's past finances can be investigated, So can every member of Congress. This is a great idea. I agree with that 100%. Not only Congress in the House, but anybody in politics, not politics, but anyone that's running some kind of office. The governor, our representatives, our senators, they should all be vetted to the max. And then we'd have no one leading the country because only the rich can lead it. Do you know Trump is worth $2 billion?
How much?
$2 billion.
They put a statue of this guy.
Huh?
George Floyd. Why would they put a statue of this guy?
Because they don't. Because the people that are doing this have no idea of any kind of history. If you look at the black history in this country, there's so many people they could build statues of that did something wonderful for this country.
But they'd rather build a statue of a criminal.
Oh yeah, he was a career criminal.
Yeah.
So, you know, in Chicago, the mayor is so incompetent. She's asked for the Biden administration for help. I mean, you had 30 people. What was it? 30 people this past weekend?
What are you talking
again?
about, Beetlejuice?
Chicago is a hellhole.
It is a hellhole. And the thing is, Trump offered her federal assistance over a year ago, and she turned it down. But now she wants it. People in, you know what? People in Chicago should be taking this woman and stringing her up.
Wait a minute.
She's got like bug eyes. You ever see a picture of
Yeah, I
her?
have.
She looks like
Oh my God.
She looks like Beetlejuice. Think about it.
Beetlejuice looks better than her.
Anyways, Trump offered the guy that was what was the guy's name? He was on. He worked for Biden. I mean Obama too. Spanish guy. Come on, help me out here.
I
He
don't know.
was just the second.
Into the microphone.
I'm thinking.
I don't know.
Anyways, Trump didn't offer it to her because she wasn't in power at that time. I don't think. But the guy that was the governor, I guess it was, or
You're talking about the mayor of Chicago?
Yes.
He's Jewish. He was
What was
Obama's
his name?
Obama's I know who you're talking about. Anyway, they turned him down. And the people in Chicago have got to get rid of this mayor. She is a nightmare.
So according to Genia, Big E is on this year.
What is?
The Big E.
Oh, is on this
Yeah.
year? Okay.
You know, I have another little story here, which one of these days, either I'll end up doing it by myself,
maybe next week.
or, yeah, that's true, huh? Or me and Eric will be getting into it. And the whole show is going to be about abortion. So just keep that in mind because it's coming very soon.
Okay, we'll
But
do
right
it.
now-
We'll do it.
Right now, there's an article here where I believe it's the statue of Jesus in Rio de Janeiro with his arms out.
The arms out, yes. That's
Some
that's not Jesus. It's
Oh, it's not?
no.
Oh, then it's not.
I don't think it is. I thought it was like, oh, maybe it is. Yeah, he's got the hood on and what is that called?
Anyways, this pro-abortion activist hung "God Bless Abortions" banner on a massive Jesus
I
statue.
did.
God bless abortions? What the hell is wrong with you people? You wonder why there's so much killing and stuff going on in our country? Because nobody takes it serious. For years and years, people in this country have been killing babies constantly. It got to the point where at one time, I don't know if they're still doing it, they would kill the babies and then they would take parts of the babies for other medical things. And there is some reasons maybe for an abortion.
It's
not
Christ
that many.
the Redeemer.
But, you know, it becomes such commonplace to do, not only in this country, all over the world, but in some parts of the world, they don't have a choice. In this country, you got all kinds of choices not to have a child. You don't need the it's alive. Yep. You know, it's not like it's a stuffed animal or something. You know, this is a living, breathing thing. I mean, these people that perform abortions, they probably go home and love and hug their pet. But like I said, that's for another time.
We'll do a show on that one time. Anyway, have any more?
Let me see. You want to listen to some Lenny Kravitz?
No.
Okay. Well, here we go.
How about crazy people?
No, not yet.
Too many people like that.
How about the city dock fight?
Well, this
Too many
this is-
crazies in the world.
All right, I do have another one, and this is probably going to be another show all on its own in the future, because I know Eric is hot on this one. Embracing critical theory, teachers' union says they, not the parents, they have the right to teach their children whatever they want.
That's another
you-
show.
did you
too.
hear that?
I can go on a long time. First of all, the unions in California.
Even if the state says it's against the law in that state, they're still going to. And there was thousands of teachers that said they were still going to teach it, even if it
I
was
am
against
telling
the law.
you right now that if these teachers don't go back to work, they should all be fired.
Oh yeah, and no pensions, no take all
No,
this,
everything's
everything
taken away
from
from them.
Did you know that Biden said closing businesses and then allowing them to reopen is now called creating jobs? Let that think in. I know that you probably went right over your head.
All right, it's 8:01. I know you're probably getting tired of listening to us. So, all right, so Dennis is going to be here by himself next week, I believe,
Oh,
unless
God.
he would like to bring Michael back, which Michael would be very happy to come back. And we'll see what happens. It's the summer. I found out I'm going to be a
Good move,
grandfather for the
Gina.
first time in December, and it's going to be a girl. So we have to go visit my son and his fiancée in August. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, until next time, again, want to thank you for all the phone calls and all the comments. And we'll see. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Dennis will see you back next week.
Alrighty.
Take care.
I'm gonna tell you a little story about a place in Connecticut called Norwich. We all know what Norwich means. That's the place where all the crazy people used to hang out. Well, one time they had a place called the Norwich State Hospital where they kept all the crazy people from all over the world. And they were all stationed there just being crazy as always. And then they headed out north. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Well, at the time, we had a governor in the state of Connecticut that decided he wanted to save some money. So he decided he was going to close down this hospital and kick all those crazy people to the curb. Well, he did, and they started traveling north. North, towards Norwich. Well, they just kept on moving. We didn't know where they came from. We didn't know where they were going. But they were here, all for us. Hey! The crazy people! The crazy people! The crazy people! Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah. It's crazy, 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 crazy. Woo-hoo. Well, while you saw all those people running out the front door, there was 3 young gentlemen running out the back door. They were the craziest of them all. Well, they were a group called the White Man Down Group, and they were heading down to their local pub to play some really shit-ass kicking music. 'Cause that's usually what they played, and that's what got him stuck in the hospital to begin with. They're playing that funky-ass music. Hey!